The worst time to choose a water heater is when the old one has already emptied itself onto the floor. At that point, you are not comparing systems. You are trying to restore hot water before dinner, while every hour of delay feels expensive. That pressure is where bad replacements begin. A water heater is not just a tank with a price tag. It is fuel, venting, electrical capacity, drainage, water quality, household demand, and the plumbing that carries hot water through the house. So before yours fails, let us walk through 7 expensive mistakes. By the end, you will know what to photograph today and which questions prevent a rushed replacement. Mistake number 1 is waiting for a dramatic leak before making a plan. Many water heaters give quieter clues first. You may see corrosion around a fitting, moisture in the drain pan, a relief line that is discharged, or rusty water that appears only on the hot side. You may hear new rumbling as sediment moves inside the tank, or notice that recovery is slower than it used to be. None of those clues proves the tank is finished. Some point to a fitting, a valve, water chemistry, or another condition that can be corrected, but they do mean it is time to identify the unit and have the installation evaluated, not time to ignore it. Find the rating plate. Photograph the model, serial number, fuel type, capacity, and installation label. Then find the manual for that exact model. If the heater is in an attic, finished room, or anywhere a leak could damage the house, the cost of waiting is not just the heater, it is everything below it. All right. Mistake number 2 is treating every water heater as if it has the same maintenance schedule. One online checklist may tell you to flush the tank every year. Another may tell you to test a valve, replace an anode, or descale a tankless unit on a fixed calendar. The problem is that water chemistry, heater design, age, and manufacturer instructions all change the answer. The anode rod is a good example. In a glass-lined tank, that rod is meant to be consumed, so the steel tank is not. Some manufacturers call for early inspection and regular checks. Other models use different anodes or different access arrangements. Removing the rod and leaving it out can shorten tank life and may affect the warranty. Flushing is not one universal ritual either. Sediment varies by location, and opening old valves can uncover problems that were already waiting. Hot water can scald, and pressure relief components are safety devices, not places to experiment. Use the model manual as the starting point. Add what your local water conditions require. If the unit is old, neglected, gas-fired, difficult to isolate, or unfamiliar, let a qualified professional decide what should be opened and what should be left alone. Mistake number 3 is protecting the heater, but not protecting the house from the heater. A drain pan is not decorative, where a leaking tank could damage the building. Model codes commonly require a suitable pan, and the pan must have somewhere appropriate to drain. A pan with no useful drain can only hold a small warning before it overflows. A simple water alarm can turn a silent leak into an early phone call. Some systems go further and close the incoming water automatically when a sensor detects a leak. Certain heaters now include compatible leak detection and shutoff features from the factory. These devices do not repair a tank, and they do not replace correct installation, but they can reduce the time between the first water and your response. Look at your installation without touching it. Is there a pan? Is it damaged or full of debris? Does its drain appear to lead somewhere appropriate? Would you hear an alarm from where you sleep? If you're considering an automatic shutoff, choose one compatible with the heater and have it installed correctly. Mistake number 4 is comparing replacement quotes by the final number alone. 2 contractors can quote the same heater and still be pricing different jobs. One price may include the permit, inspection, disposal, drain pan, expansion control, vent corrections, gas or electrical work, seismic restraint where required, access repairs, and warranty registration. Another may include only removal and a basic swap. That does not automatically make the higher quote better. It means the totals are meaningless until the scope is written down. Ask each contractor to identify the exact model, labor, permit responsibility, required code upgrades, venting or electrical changes, disposal, and what happens if the existing connections cannot be reused. Ask who registers the warranty and who returns if the inspector requires a correction. Permit rules vary by location and by the kind of replacement. A like-for-like tank may follow a simple process in one city, while a fuel change or tankless conversion may require additional plumbing, mechanical, electrical, or building review. The reliable answer comes from the authority where the house is located, not from a stranger in another state. Mistake number 5 is believing that tankless means instant hot water at the faucet. A tankless heater can begin heating shortly after it senses flow. But the cold water already sitting between the heater and the faucet still has to leave the pipe. If the kitchen is far from the unit, the wait can remain surprisingly long. That is a distribution problem, not a tank problem. Pipe length, pipe diameter, insulation, layout, flow rate, and recirculation strategy all affect delivery time. A tankless unit may provide long-duration hot water within its rated capacity, but it cannot teleport that water through 50 feet of cold pipe. If faster delivery is the goal, ask about the plumbing path and an on-demand or intelligently controlled recirculation design. Continuous recirculation can waste energy if it is poorly controlled. The right solution depends on the house. So separate the promises. Tankless may reduce standby losses. It may save space. It may deliver hot water for a long draw. None of those statements automatically means instant water at every fixture. Mistake number 6 is choosing tankless before checking whether the house can support it. Tankless capacity depends on two things happening at the same time: how many gallons per minute the household needs, and how many degrees the heater must raise the incoming water. Colder groundwater means a larger temperature rise and less available flow from the same unit. Then there is the energy source. A gas unit may need enough gas delivery, appropriate combustion air, correct venting, condensate handling on condensing models, and electrical power for controls and freeze protection. A whole house electric tankless unit can create a very large electrical load and may require service or panel work. Those upgrades can change the economics completely. Water quality matters too. Scale forms on heat transfer surfaces and maintenance requirements change with hardness and usage. Low-flow fixtures can also interact with the minimum flow a particular unit needs to stay operating. Do not begin with a brand or a box on a store shelf. Begin with incoming water temperature, simultaneous fixture demand, fuel capacity, electrical service, venting path, water hardness, and the manufacturer sizing data. That is how a tankless system becomes a good fit instead of an expensive surprise. Mistake number 7 is buying a unit when you should be choosing the whole system. A conventional storage tank is familiar, can deliver a large short burst, and may be the simplest replacement. Its operating cost and recovery depend on fuel, efficiency, size, and use. A gas tankless heater can reduce standby loss and provide long draws, but only within its rated temperature rise and flow. It brings its own venting, gas, drainage, power, and maintenance questions. A whole house electric tankless heater avoids combustion, but the electrical demand can be the deciding factor. And if you are replacing a standard electric tank, a heat pump water heater deserves a serious look. It moves heat from the surrounding air into the water, much like a refrigerator operating in reverse. It can use far less electricity than ordinary resistance heating, but it needs suitable air, temperature, drainage for condensate, enough capacity, and a location where fan noise and cooling are acceptable. There is no universal winner. The best system is the one that fits the house, the local energy prices, the installation space, the household's peak demand, the maintenance you will actually perform, and the years you expect to remain there. Here is the simple action to take while the floor is still dry. Photograph the rating plate and the entire installation. Download the exact manual. Write down the last known maintenance date. Note any corrosion, moisture, unusual sound, slow recovery, or hot water discoloration without opening or adjusting anything. Then decide who you will call before you need them. That small file on your phone turns an emergency into a decision you have already begun. Tell me in the comments, how old is your water heater, and is it a tank, tankless, or heat pump model? Your answers will help shape the next guide. If this field guide helped, subscribe to the Homeowner's Field Manual and leave a like.